Ford are building some very good cars. Their revival seems to have started with the release of the 6th generation Fiesta back in 2008. Since then, they've given us some good hot hatches, the EcoSport, the very impressive Cougar, and the Ranger, which was last year's winner of RPM TV's 4x4 double cab shootout. And now they have themselves a new D-segment car. That's the segment in which models offering the size of the BMW 3 Series do battle. But the Ford and its direct competition have slightly less prestige and a lower average price. The Fusion is the successor to the Mondeo, a car which has been in South Africa for a number of years, but is still a pretty popular choice in Europe. The Fusion isn't just a slight tweaking of the Mondeo though, it's a completely new design. This is a very pretty car. It's all sculpted and quite purposeful looking, and although it's big, it's definitely more athletic than bulky. The interesting thing though, is although it looks like nothing else, it's definitely borrowed some bits from other manufacturers. The bonnet has a definite Jaguar edge, or a few edges at least. Ford's grille shape remains defiantly Aston Martin, and the indicators have taken some inspiration from Audi. Parked next to its competition though, it has an undeniable edge. It's far more interesting looking than most, and it has a presence that's not usually found on a middle management machine. Thanks in no small part to its sheer size, it has no problem filling a parking space. It's got something else in common with bigger sedans too. If I gave you a piece of paper that tried to describe a car by listing the technology it came with, things like active lane keeping, stop-start, LED headlights, automatic braking, adaptive cruise control, you might think I'm describing a Mercedes-Benz, or at the very least, a high-end Volvo. But everything I've just mentioned is available with the Ford Fusion. Some of them are standard. I can't say for sure, but I suspect some things have been sitting on the shelf since Ford sold Volvo, and they're only now allowed to use them. The collision avoidance head-up display, for example, is the same idea, the same layout and colour as the one in a Volvo XC60. It even makes the same freak-out noise when it thinks you're trying to mate with the car in front of you. Keyless operation and full LED headlights are part of the asking price of our test car. Other bits like the collision avoidance, automatic parking and adaptive cruise control are part of an optional package. We're driving the top-of-the-range Titanium with a 2-litre diesel motor, 132 kilowatts and a not too shabby 400 Newton meters. It's not exactly what you'd call punchy, but it's no slouch either. In gear and off the line, it just seems to deliver the right amount of power every time. Part of that is thanks to a 6-speed dual-clutch gearbox. The range is completed by a 1.5 and 2-litre petrol motor with a choice of manual or dual-clutch gearboxes, all available in 2 spec levels. Pricing for our 2-litre diesel test car starts at 450,000 Rand. It is the top spec, so there are lots of toys, packaged in an interior that I'm in two minds about. There is lots of space, comfortable seats, but the layout is dominated by this center stack, which is easy to use and has got a nice touchscreen, but it is just a little bit bland. It seems Ford has gone from one extreme to the other. The previous interior design mantra was as many buttons as possible across the entire dash. Now it's been pared back to the point of being a little boring. Even so, it is an improvement. And there are some very nice details too. The materials are good and the sense of space is obvious. Even our 6-foot-plus director was content in the back seat on our extended drive across the Cape Peninsula. The boot is impressively large, carrying all our gear and luggage for an overnight trip with ease and space to spare. So it has styling that borrows a bit from here and there and an interior that has a definite weak link. But one of the positives about the Ford Fusion is something you can't argue with, and it's that this car loves to drive. Put on your big boy pants, stick it into a set of corners, and you're rewarded with handling that is superb and a ride setup that just feels solid all the time. It's one of those chassis that is way more capable than the motor. It soaks up challenging corners almost with disdain, as if to say, is that the best you can do? The steering is on the light side and doesn't exactly transmit every crease in the road with accuracy, but in the Fusion, the lack of genuine feedback is fine, because it just adds to the sense that this car is more than capable and doesn't want to make your driving life too difficult. The D segment of the market isn't exactly the stuff of dreams, but this year it's going to be an interesting category to watch. You've got the likes of the new Mazda 6 taking on Car of the Year finalist, the Honda Accord. They're up against the new Volkswagen Passat, which, according to the German press, is an absolute cracker. And taking them on is the new Ford Fusion, which is a top-class package and another very good Ford. A 2-litre diesel tops the Fusion range. Its power and torque are about making the drive smooth and easy, with a new 6-speed dual-clutch gearbox adding to the overall impression. It's a well-thought-out car that packs cutting-edge technology and a very capable chassis. The interior is let down a bit by a dominant centre stack that's just a bit short on imagination.